Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday to you. I'm excited today because I'm tired, but I'm joyful. And my friend is here to be joyful with me. And I don't know, she might not be as tired as me, but that's the key. Surround yourself with people who maybe are not as tired as you, maybe are more joyful than you. And that's what we're doing here on Project Joy Live this morning. So let's get started with an all new episode right now. Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. Happy October 7th. October 7th, 2024. We are officially a week in to October already and excited to be here with you today for an all new episode of Project Joy Live. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, and I'm excited because today is a co-host day and I love it. I love it when we have people joining us here on the show. Miss Trista Polo is going to be joining us here in a little bit, but let's talk about in the morning brew what we will be doing on the show today. All right, is everybody awake this morning? Let me know. Is everybody awake? I am very tired this morning. What's bringing me so much joy though is that yesterday we had plans to take the kids to go apple picking with some friends of theirs, and there's several apple farms around here, and you guys ever heard me talk about Clyde's before in Stonington, Connecticut? Clyde's is one of the oldest apple presses in the United States that makes apple cider, right? And so anytime Clyde's opens, that's like I don't care what the weatherman, the almanac, or any person on the planet says, that is the start of fall. When Clyde's opens is the start of fall, period, end of story. And so there's all these places you can go apple picking. And for the last couple of years, we have gone to Whittles, which is in I think it's technically Mystic, Connecticut, but listen, you people have to understand that in New England, these are very small states up here. And so everything just runs together. All of the cities, all of the towns, is one really the other? We don't know. So anyway, Whittles Willow Spring Farm. That's a tongue twister. We usually go there to go apple picking and get pumpkins, so we thought we would do both, right? So we go to meet there, and we were hanging out for a little bit, and then we go in to get baskets for apple picking, and they're like, oh no, we're not doing apple picking this year. Apparently, and this is a thing that can happen, the bees can over pollinate and not make a good apple crop. So they only had enough apples to go for their store this year and not allow people to go in and go apple picking. So we couldn't go apple picking and we at Whittles. And so we went and we picked out pumpkins instead. We got some beautiful pumpkins. Which for those of you guys on my Facebook, I'll be putting a couple pictures in my stories later from yesterday. But then, so we did the pumpkins. And then after pumpkins, we called another orchard, which interesting thing. So Holmberg's, which is heading up toward Mohegan Sun Casino in Connecticut here. Holmberg's, I always went to the little red store out by the road to get apples and things growing up, but I had never been into their actual orchard, which they have a whole new setup. So this was a new experience for me, even though I grew up here and grew up going to Holmberg's. I had never been apple picking there. There was probably 500 people there. There was a lot of people. Yesterday apparently was apple picking day. You just didn't know it. And so we go up there. It was lovely though, because you get a bucket, and it's like this bucket that we can use every year apparently. and get this bucket, and then they take you on a little hayride on the tractor out to the apple orchard, to the center of the apple orchard, and then you go pick your apples, right? So we got this giant bucket of apples. Kids had a lot of fun. There was a lot of those like wooden cutout things of different shapes that you put your head in, right, and take a picture. And kids had a lot of fun. And so we did that. We got pumpkins yesterday. We got apples yesterday, and it was a great day. Then we took my daughter out for lunch because one of my middle children, Margine, is 15 today. So we took her to lunch yesterday at Mohegan Sun Casino, and that was the first time my youngest ones had been there. And so they were just, there's so much to see, and things going off, and noises and lights and all, and what the floor to ceiling waterfalls and all of that. And so they had a great time. And so I said, Self, you are going to be exhausted tonight. You've gone pumpkin picking, apple picking, casinoing. I broke the slot machine yesterday, you guys. Isn't that fun? My my girls went into the bathroom, right? And there's no benches by this particular bathroom. And I think that's a trick. I think they're like, if you want to sit down, you better sit your butt at a slot machine, right? So they tricked me, and I'm fine with it. So I go to sit down. I had a voucher left from like several months ago when I had gone. So I just put that in to play the rest of what was on my voucher. And then the thing would not let me check out. It just broke. So I sit there for 40 minutes waiting for somebody to come over. Somebody comes over, they push the button, it's fine. So that was so I said, all this excitement yesterday, you're going to sleep so well. And I did not. So here we are. And so I've been finding my little subtle joys this morning with the day yesterday, but also I'm really enjoying. I love this time of year, especially as the leaves start to change here in New England. I love listening to the It's a Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown soundtrack. I just love like driving through, and the leaves are starting to fall, and I feel like here I am waiting for the great pumpkin. It's the best thing ever. It's the best thing ever. So that's my little joys this morning, even though I'm exhausted and my body is like, girl, if you go apple picking like that again, I swear to God. So we're here this morning and we're doing it. I'm very excited. Trista Polo is here, and we're going to be talking about a topic that is so much fun, limiting beliefs. So we're going to be doing that with Trista. We've got birthdays for you. I got to tell you about what's coming up on the Breakthrough Show Network this week. We have a lot happening, and I'm excited for you to be here today and join us. Miss Teresa's here this morning. Miss Brittany's here this morning. Miss Nancy's here this morning. Yes, Whittles. I love it. My husband was making some kind of joke yesterday about how they can't say that they're the biggest orchard because they're just Whittle. My husband has jokes. All of that being said, I'm so glad you guys are here today to share in the subtle joys that is October 7th. Without further ado, I want to bring my friend on to co-host with me this morning. She is the author of Self-Love Shenanigans, and she's just the best. I have so much fun when she comes on. Please put your hands together and welcome back to the show, Trista Polo. Trista.
Hey, how's it going?
Got me in the groove already. I love it.
I mean, that music, it always just gets me like,
we're in the club.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's the Self-Love Joy Club here.
It's the Self-Love Joy Club. I love that. I love that. I love that. You know what else I love? I love apple picking.
Yes.
And I love casinos. I was all about your intro monologue this morning. Like a good talk show host, you got a lot of fun things to share. I was thinking, does she find things to do every week just so she has something to talk about? Or is her life just really exciting? Lots of adventures, probably because you have kids. Kids make you do more things. We don't do things.
I think a lot of it is where we live though too, because I've had kids the last 23 years, right? And so but it wasn't until we moved back here to Connecticut that really there's something to do all the time. In fact, I have a little group on Facebook of super close family and friends that I've, had in my life for many, many, many years. And
Yeah.
so we've been doing so much that now I actually do like a monthly update. Like I do
Wow.
like, okay, this is all the stuff that we've had going on. But
Yes.
in that, I've also like in that so much to do, I feel like having so much to do has also given me the permission I've needed to rest more, to like,
Mm.
it's interesting the way that
Yeah,
that works, because I figure, hey, if my schedule's not full, I'll rest more, but I really don't. What I do is I try to find things to fill my schedule.
that's right. Because then you feel guilty that you're not
Right.
doing enough. That's the saying, if you want something done, give it to a busy person.
Mm,
No, it's partially because they know how to manage their time and juggle a lot of things, but
right.
it's also, I think, because they're better at managing their self-care because they have to be. They don't really have,
Right.
hopefully. I know, we run around with full cups, etc. So that's a different
Yeah.
conversation, but hopefully they make the time. So when
Right.
I do these trips, I've been doing some trips this year and I've been traveling, a bit. And it's like the whole accident thing, which if people have had us talk before, I've mentioned it before. I was in an accident this year
Yeah.
and I have to budget time to rest in
Right.
order to do those trips. So
Right.
do I not do them? Do I say, you know what? I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to go anywhere.
Right.
Or do I say, I'm going to manage my life so that I can? There's
Yes.
there's this theory, you've probably heard it. Did we talk about the spoon theory in the past?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. And so I love that theory because it's true. Like you have to be able to budget. So I think when you're really busy, you're better at budgeting your time.
I think so. I
Yeah,
feel like that for myself anyway. I mean, obviously you and I can't speak for everybody.
of course. Yeah, for
There's
sure.
always those people. But you and I have talked about this before, how when I've shared that, like, I'm not, maybe I'm not feeling 100% or whatever the situation is,
Mhm.
I'll still do those things that I say that I want to do or that I'm going to do, because I will budget more time to rest or
Yeah,
stretch or do what I need to do to take care of myself.
for
And
sure.
people often will jump in and be like, make sure you take care of yourself, Jessica. Make sure. I'm like, do you know me at all? Like, I promise you, I slept 30 minutes before this conversation.
Nice, nice. Yeah, because it's the things people don't see
Right.
that
Right.
we're doing, hopefully.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the challenge though. And I know this isn't our conversation today,
Yeah.
but when I see people going, when I was younger, I thought you had to always be going because I didn't
Right.
see them at home resting.
Yes.
And so I always look for outside, not inside, for the answers. I never trusted my own answers, which by the way is a limiting belief, which we're going to be talking about. See what I did there? So I was always looking to like what other people did. And when I saw them, they were doing everything, they were going everywhere, they were eating anything they want, drinking as much as they wanted. And I was like, so glut in all of these things, like being a glutton in time and things and energy and food and drink is all okay. But then it's like, well, what about when I don't see them? They're probably doing different things.
Right.
And I didn't get
Well,
that because I didn't see them doing those things.
Could you imagine a world though? Like, I know all of us give like nonsensical, not unnecessary posts on social media sometimes, but could you
Yeah.
imagine if like we went on there and we're like, I'm going to take a nap now.
I'm
I'm going to
resting.
the bathroom. I'm resting. I'm going to stretch right now. Whatever, it
Can
is.
we normalize that though? Like, what if social media wasn't just the things that make us look good, but the things that make us
Yeah.
look responsible for our well-being too?
Yeah.
Like, I think that you and I have just created a new trend.
Yeah.
What
It's
if we
happening.
were to post the stuff we do that isn't the look good stuff, but that is the feel good and take care of myself stuff?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
What if we did that?
Yeah.
I think if we all did that, eventually I would be like, oh my God, Susan, you're taking a nap for the 900th time. Please stop talking about
Well, but so do you do that when people post their dinner?
um there's times, yeah. And yeah. So today, Trista, we're talking
Yeah.
about limiting beliefs. That's what we're talking about. I can't.
We
Oh,
are
by the way,
indeed.
Joanne said, I am witnessing a lack of depth on social media and in our society today. It is sad.
Yeah,
It's
it
sad
is.
because anytime we talk about something that is, and I don't know if it's a generational thing or what in the world it is, but anytime we talk about something with depth, people just come out of the woodwork ready to slam whatever the
Oh
hell it
my
is you
goodness.
just said. And it's exhausting. So I'm
It
like,
is.
let me just post my dinner
It is.
because I'm tired. This is the other day. I got so
Yeah.
exhausted. I was like, I'm going to go on my story and post about my soup I made. That's what I did. I just posted my
Yeah.
soup that I
Good.
made for dinner.
Yeah. Well, it's
I was
true. You know,
tired.
people are looking for meaningful conversations. And
Yes.
because we're not seeing each other like we used to, and we've kind of become a separated sort of environment and society, even, we're not having those
Right.
meaningful conversations. They're not as prevalent as they used to be, I think. And so we're trying to find meaning. And so we're looking for any kind of meaningful thing, but then it can turn in, if we aren't happy, if we do have limiting beliefs, if we are having our own self-care challenges, then it turns from a meaningful conversation to a complaint and a judgment and a ridicule. And really, we know when we're doing that, we're just doing that about ourselves, and we're
Right.
projecting that onto other people. But that's not how it feels when it's in my
Right.
comments. Hello.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Okay, so limiting beliefs, that's what we're talking about today.
Yes.
And I'm assuming that limiting beliefs were a part of I mean, I would assume they would have to have been a part of self-love shenanigans where
Yeah,
with your book.
absolutely. And they're a core piece of when we're looking at ourselves. And here's the problem with limiting beliefs: we don't realize it's a limiting belief. We think it's the truth.
Mm,
And so a limiting belief, just so we're all on the same page, is something that we believe is the truth that limits us.
mm,
So I'm not good enough. I could never be a public speaker. I'll never be the best person in the room. I'm not as smart as other people. All that stuff that we say that boxes in our potential, and we believe it's the truth. So it's not like I can say to you, "Oh, that's not true."
right.
You are the smartest person in a lot of rooms. If I say that to you and you have still not transformed it from the truth to this is a limiting belief I have, then you're not going to believe me. I can say
Right.
nothing to transform it. You have to transform it for yourself. And to do that requires a paradigm shift. And the reason is because that belief comes from somewhere in our lives, usually as a child, but not always, where we learned something about ourselves and our brain said, in order to survive, I better stay smaller. Because
Mm,
if I pop up too big, I am at risk. Our brain is really just trying to keep us alive. So I
mm,
am at risk. So I better keep this smaller. And until I understand that that is my brain doing that to support me and not the truth, I will always have it, and I'll always be at the mercy of it. And even after you transform it to understand it's a limiting belief, like I have a limiting belief that I don't deserve love.
mm.
What a surprise that I wrote a book about self-love, right?
Yeah.
Write about what you know. And
That's it.
I still, if I still have this thing that I do, my husband calls me paranoid. Like I am positive. I'm really observant from childhood trauma.
Mm,
And
yeah.
I am positive there are people who don't like me. And I can tell
Mhm.
you who they are, and I can tell you all the evidence. And I believe it to be true,
Right.
even with all the work I've done, because I'm empathic and empathetic, and I'm observant, and I'm this and I'm that, and I know those people don't like me. Well, you know what? Whether they do or not is none of my business. But I
Right.
make it mean something for myself.
Yeah.
And
That's it.
that's
Yes.
what I'm working on right now.
Yeah.
I'm paranoid about people not liking
Yeah.
me, and I'm working on transforming that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the part for me about and really if we can bring in for a moment the fact that I have a couple notes about how there is some joy in limiting beliefs, and one of those things for me is that it makes you aware. It like when
Mhm.
you become aware of the limiting beliefs, it's empowering because then when it's not until you're aware of it that you can do something about it.
That's right.
If you choose to do that, right? And so I think that that's what it is for me. What are you going to do with it? So there may very well be people that don't like either don't like either one of us for what I'm the same way. I do the same thing where I'm like, I see the way you just looked at me. I've heard the things that you've said. I've heard the rumors that other people have said that you've said. And I see your actions, so I know you don't like me. And so whether
Yeah.
that's true or not, the question is, what am I going to make it mean what am I going to make it mean to me? That's where the power is, right?
Right. What's the next thing I do?
Right.
From there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so where we first need to look is awareness. And so really anywhere that we find ourselves saying things that we always say, like that person doesn't like me, or I could never do that, or I'm terrible at remembering names. By the way, I'm terrible at remembering names is a limiting belief. It's not really true. It's just a limiting belief.
I get another one. Some of y'all are about to leave the show. You ready for it? I'm not a morning person.
Yeah. Good one. I can't exist until I have my coffee. I mean, those are like silly ones, but they're still limiting beliefs.
There's no coffee, no talkie.
That's right. So the first step is awareness, right? You hear that the first step is admitting you have a problem. The first step is being aware that you have a limiting belief.
Right.
And then the second step is kind of taking stock of it. Like, what if it wasn't true? Like, am I willing to consider that it may not be necessarily so? What if it's not necessarily so? So I first have to kind of notice it, and then I have to decide that I'm willing to consider that it's not necessarily so.
Right.
And then I start looking for evidence. Like, when are times when I was the smartest person in the room, or when I was in a good mood when I woke up in the morning, or when I did have to speak and I didn't faint or die? Like, just starting to look for evidence. We almost have to kind of build a case for it not being true, because otherwise it owns us. And so we're looking to flip the switch so that we own it. And so it's still there. It's still there, but maybe it's quieter. It's not the truth. It's just something I know that shows up, and then I can manage it better. And I have a choice now. When we think it's the truth, we don't have a choice.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I think we talk about all of the time here on this show about how much, where that's really so much of our internal joy lies, is knowing that we have choices for things. And the limiting beliefs can push us to examine ourselves on a much deeper level, which we know can lead to, what's the B word here, everybody? Breakthroughs. So we love that. And it's a journey. And I think part of the challenge for me throughout the years, when I do have that awareness and dig deeper, not allowing me to beat myself up about it.
Yeah.
Staying out of a place of guilt, because the beliefs came from somewhere. A lot of times it's trauma or other things like that create those things. And so not beating myself up for being in that space, and then leaning into what you're talking about, which is that choice to move on. Joanne had a question. She said, do you consider limiting beliefs as the unsung hero, superhero of our inner journey? I think those of us who choose to evolve can use this awareness to become better versions of ourselves. Do you think that limiting beliefs could be an unsung hero, Trista?
Well, I love that, especially what you're saying, because it came from somewhere.
Yeah.
It came from a place of protection. It was us creating a boundary that would support and protect us from future pain.
Yes.
So yeah, absolutely. When we look at it, it came from a pure place. Even though it is a limiter now, it did come from pure place. So yeah, I love thinking of it as an unsung superhero for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And that gratitude, I think, is so important too. What if we could, when we recognize a limiting belief, go, thank you, self. Thank you, self, for creating that to keep me safe when I needed it. and now maybe can we shift it? Can we talk about shifting? Like, have that conversation. I have parent teacher conferences with myself all the time.
Nice. I love that.
Plus, I'm a homeschool mom, so I am the parent teacher. So I
you have to do
that anyway.
In the curriculum.
It's part of it. It's part of it. I'm also the superintendent of schools. So
absolutely. I mean, I coach myself all the time. I talk myself off of ledges. I remind myself it ain't necessarily so. I ask what I can be grateful for in this moment. I coach myself a lot. So you know how they used to say, if you talk to yourself, it's okay. But if you respond, then you have to worry about your mental health.
Yeah, BS.
No, I talk to myself. I respond to myself. I have a very strong, open dialogue with my inner coach. / higher self / future self / past self / inner child. Like, we have a lot of group therapy discussions amongst ourselves.
Right. I tell people on this show all the time, sometimes I can be, and people that are out here in the audience will say that I'm a great catalyst for lovingly pushing people off the cliff. I try to prepare a parachute for you and everything else, but I do that with other people because I do that with myself. Yes. I self-coach myself all the time. Last week, I was sharing before that I had a really, really tough week physically. If you guys could have been a fly on the wall, you would have heard I was talking to myself just like I talk to everybody else. Like, I really, with so much love and so much like, girl, like, get yourself together at the same time because it's necessary.
Yes, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. I love that. Christy's here this morning. Good morning, Christy. She said, limiting beliefs are a great starting point. Good step to use for sure. Then you realize all beliefs are limiting in some way. Get the ride of all beliefs. Then you create a new space for super movement and growth.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, they all are in some kind of way. And I think in a way it reminds, like, there's so much bigger than us. Outside of ourselves, and so everything that we think is just what we think. I mean, it's all
made up.
Yeah,
I did a practice with myself years ago. I want to do it again now that I'm thinking of it, where anytime I received a compliment, I thanked the person and I showed gratitude, and I said to myself, that's their thought. It doesn't mean anything. Like, I actually just reminded myself, none of it means anything.
Right.
It's just words that someone else is saying that's reflecting back themselves onto me. So it doesn't mean anything. And so I was able to practice exactly that all of our beliefs, all of our thoughts are made up. It ain't necessarily so. And while we're talking about limiting beliefs, I agree, we could look at everything as made up and as a construct that we've created for our reality. And it can all be transformed. And since we made it up, we could make it up to a different thing anyway. I was facilitating a program last week, and it's a program about leadership skills, etc. And we were talking about some of these things. And I said, when I walk in to run a program, I have limiting beliefs that show up. And I worry that they're not going to like me. I'm too loud. I'm too excited. I'm too energetic. I'm too positive. I'm too much for these people. But then I remember that I'm making that up. And so I change it to, these people love me. They think I'm amazing. I am going to change their lives, and they can't wait to hear what I have to say. Right. And you know what? When I said this, they laughed, and I could have made up what the laugh meant. Like, did that mean it wasn't true? But it didn't matter. I just let it go, because the point was, I can make up anything because it's my thoughts. I'm in charge.
Yeah. It reminds me. So when I was a teenager, I started going to therapy, and my counselor had me, that's the first time I ever started using guided visualizations. And my counselor used to do these visualizations with me. And it was so funny because she had this one where I would pretend that I was a bird. And for some reason, for the longest time, I had like, I felt like I had no control over me as a bird. Like I would just be flying and then I would go on the ground and then I would start eating a worm and gross myself out. And like,
Wow.
I felt like I had no control over myself as a bird.
Yeah.
And so, but it was that process, it's a funny process of, you know, trying to like control this bird, like just
Yeah.
please don't eat the worm this time. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, but
Worms
it
are
was,
gross.
yeah, I mean, especially when you're like, I was like 15 years old and
Yeah.
like, you know, I was like, this is disgusting. Why would you have me do this? So it really just, it's sometimes the mind can do whatever, but we really do have the power to like, okay, let me make up something else. And so eventually my bird got like went to the beach and there were no worms to be found,
Oh,
you know, like, but it was that was the first time I'd ever been
nice.
like, oh, what is
and luckily
going
you
on with
hadn't
my
heard
thoughts?
of sand fleas yet. So you didn't have to be grossed out by it. Thank goodness. Because those things are really disgusting. And I can't with those things. I just can't.
Yeah.
There are two processes that I want to bring up right now about reprogramming your brain. One is, it's called timeline therapy, and it can be done by any certified NLP hypnotist.
Yeah.
And I was able to reduce and then completely end a crippling phobia of snakes using timeline therapy. So I highly recommend it. The other one is called EMDR. I don't know what it stands for, but it's reprogramming your brain by pulsing left, right, left, right. And I'm using that to deal with the PTSD and the trauma from the accident. And it's a slow process, but I'm using what I'm learning in that process in other areas. Like it's helping me manage my anxiety that I have now. It's helping me maintain when I get overwhelmed because I'm using the process that we do. And so I would highly recommend both of those. They're really effective. Like if talk therapy with yourself isn't working, if coaching yourself isn't enough, like there are processes beyond just talking that can help your brain reprogram and rewire.
Yeah. And I think it's important to note that there are things that can help outside of ourselves, because sometimes, and just saying this for everybody out there, including myself, Christy's thought, nothing means anything. Thoughts are made up. You can create meaning to every thought. Yes. While that is true, sometimes the trauma that we've experienced is so powerful that when we're in that, I can tell you, because I have PTSD as well. So it takes you completely out of any rational thing that we know this to be true, yet somehow the body sometimes takes over. And so it's so funny that you mentioned EMDR, because my doctor just referred me to that too. So.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So twinsies, we're twinning.
It's perfect. It's always perfect when you come on Project Joy Live.
Yeah,
every time.
Every time. Do you have any final thoughts about limiting beliefs that we want to leave everybody with today?
Open up your heart to listen for the limits that we put on ourselves today, and just see what shows up.
I love that. Just explore it. Yes. We love that. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break and be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.
On April 4th, I was 90 years old, grandson of slaves. My parents were first generation free. A long time ago, I embraced the definition of love. Love is the experience of well-being. And a friend is one who mutually shares that experience of well-being with you, which opens up almost infinite creative possibilities.
Welcome back to Project Joy Live. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, and we're here with the amazing Trista Polo today. Let me tell you something. I'm at the end of my editing process with the Friendship Paradox, and I have had so much fun because when I do a show or an interview or a recording or whatever, I just let something take over outside of myself. I really have no idea what's going on. And I mean, it may seem like I have it all together up here with my messy bun and my poncho on, but I assure you that I really have no clue what's happening. And so I had done all those interviews for the documentary, and then I really I didn't process it at all. And so as I've gone through each video editing and cutting clips and things like that, I'm just like, wow, just so I cannot wait for everybody to see the final project in November.
I'm so excited.
I'm excited to see it because I'm sure it's a situation too where I think it's the same thing. I'm just going through these motions of editing and piecing together and making a story, etc. And then I'm sure I really will have no clue until I watch it. I watch it all when it's done anyway.
Can I just say, I love what you're sharing first, because I was really curious how it was going and I was going to ask you about it. And I'm so glad that it's making its way, because November 29th is like right around the freaking corner. Yeah. Oh my goodness. But the other thing about it is I wrote a book. I haven't finished it. It's a novel. And I've been really beating myself up, limiting belief that this book was written outside of me. My higher self wrote it, my spirit guide, somebody wrote it. It wasn't me, because it's way better than I can personally write. But how am I going to edit it, put it together and publish it when I don't have that? And then I'm like, but why don't I have that? So I love what you're saying, that I can use my higher self and just kind of lean into the moment and allow it, instead of trying to figure out how to do it. And I can do that for all the parts of a project, not just the first step. And it felt important for me to say that out loud for myself, and maybe there's something there for others as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I've gone through something very similar with, this project in particular. I feel like there's something to be said for the timing and when something just feels right and ready to go. I got very kind of gung-ho about this project and I just charged ahead recklessly with it, like I do with something. But I have another book that I've been working on for 4 years, been working on this book, and just cannot, it's one of those things. Some things take time and some things happen effortlessly, and it's okay for there to be both. It's not, just is what it is. It is what it is, my friends. All right.
Definitely is.
We need to celebrate birthdays today.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Happy birthday to you.
All right, so we got lots of birthdays happening here. In the world of celebrity, the master of meanness, Simon Cowell, is 65 years old today. Simon Cowell. And if I think 65, isn't that the year where you can get the senior discount?
So you're saying he's old? Is that what you're saying about Simon Cowell right now?
Well, if he wants to dish it out to everybody, I think he can handle a little of that.
Go get that 10% off your ice cream, Simon. Let's go.
It's also, this is going to be so fun. Okay, so it's Louis Capaldi's birthday. He's a great singer, 28 years old today. And back when during the pandemic, when are we still there? I don't know. But in the height of it, there was a lot of celebrities that had gone on Smule, which is like a karaoke thing. And I sang a duet with Louis Capaldi. Wow. And I'm gonna put it because it's so funny, because he didn't really take it seriously. So I was like, well, I'm not taking it seriously either. And I just had fun with it. And so I'm gonna post that in my Facebook story today, so you guys can relive that with me, because it was so funny. So happy birthday, Louis, my duet partner that I know he was. Yeah. Tony Braxton, 57 years old today. Love that. Lead singer Tom York, 56 years old, from the group Radiohead. And so funny because I was just listening to the song Creep this morning, which I love. That
nice. Song. Love.
Also, it's a lot of music people. Like everybody's in music today. Okay, John Mellencamp, 73
Okay.
years old today. Love some
Nice.
John.
I saw him in concert.
Did you?
Yes, he had to take 2 smoke breaks. Like, I'm like, why are we standing around here? And somebody was like, oh, he had to take a smoke break.
What kind of smoke, though?
Well, I don't know. I assumed cigarettes at the time, but who knows? I do not judge.
Know.
I do not assume.
I don't either. You know what's funny about that? When I went to go see Air Supply, which let me tell you, it's the best shows I've ever been to in my life. You know what they did? What they took breaks for? Tea.
Nice.
Literally, we were sitting on the side, and we could see where they had their little tea table set up on the side. Went down and had tea in the middle of the show. Love that.
I love that.
Amazing, incredible classical cellist Yo-Yo Ma is 69 years old today.
Nice.
If you haven't ever listened to him play cello, it's just mesmerizing. So go do that.
He puts his stuff on TikTok now.
Does he?
Yeah, he has an official account, and I just came across it, and it was like, let me play a little something for you to brighten your day. It was awesome.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go find, see, you have homework today, everybody. Go hunt that down on the TikTok. In the celebrities in my life, Daniel Ramsey has a birthday today. One of my college friends, Marissa Ayre, has a birthday today. Our dear friend, Sharon Zaraga Walters, here on the show, the Queen of Gratitude. She is in Florida right now visiting her dad because today is Leonard Zaraga's 93rd birthday. Wow. So Sharon's daddy is 93 years old today. Happy birthday, Leonard. Awesome. I hope you have an amazing day. And then, of course, here in our house, it's a very special day because my daughter Margene is 15 today.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Yes, it's going to be a great day. So let's get our birthday song on. Trista, you ready for it?
I have 2.
Oh, you have 2? Yay.
I have 2. So Dean Perez Kim is a young boy in California, and he was born in 2014. So that makes him 10, which I can't even believe.
Happy birthday, Dean.
And my husband, the amazing Russell Polo, his birthday's on Friday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Russell Polo. Very, very happy birthday, Russell, the man behind the curtain. We love it. Love it. Okay. You ready to get our birthday song on? Here we go.
Do it.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Simon, Lewis, Tony, Tom, John, Yo-Yo, Daniel, Marty, Leonard, Dean, and Russell.
Yeah, here we go.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday
to you. Yes. Happy birthday. Sorry, we weren't done yet.
It's always a dance party around here, especially when the cameras are off.
That's going to be up there in one of my favorite birthdays songs of the season.
Awesome.
It just is.
Fabulous.
Let's talk about what's happening the rest of the week. I don't know, really. I got to look at my calendar. I'll be right back. All right. We have meditation coming up with the amazing Teresa Warren, guided meditation in our virtual community happening at 10 a.m. So get ready, head over there, go to the breakthroughshownetwork.club and go to our meditation room. And Teresa will lead us to a lovely guided meditation. It's part 3, but you can come if you haven't been to the other one. No prerequisites here. But she's taking through a lot of the chakras and getting feeling good about that.
Beautiful.
We also have an all-new episode of Beyond 2D coming tomorrow night. We're continuing our conversation, which started about resilience, but we used our executive power and changed. So we are shifting into the word perseverance rather than resilience. If you don't know why, go back and watch last episode because we had a whole fit We had a whole fit live on we got Project Joy Live. I'll be back with Olivia Ambani on Wednesday. Then we've got Fun Friday, a very fun announcement happening. You guys know I went to 90s Con back in March. I am going all 3 days in 2025, and wait till I tell you who all is going to be there. So you can have a whole fit with me on Friday. Get ready. Get ready for it. We have Pomodoro virtual co-working happening Wednesday and Friday as well. It's going to, of course, Soul Saturday Morning Coffee on Saturday morning as well. So join us for that. It's going to be an absolutely amazing time, and I hope you can fit in wherever you feel the need. Do you have anything going on this week or anything that you're sharing this month, Trista?
I just want to share that I've been working with a limiting belief of my own, which is not only embracing my spiritual journey privately, but starting to bring it more into my public persona as well, on my videos, etc. And I've been working on a project that is about to come live, which is a TikTok channel, probably other areas as well, where I'll be offering charm casting readings and charms to do your own casting as well. So that is very nearly being introduced to the world. Very excited about it.
I have been waiting. You guys, I got a little sneak peek. Trista, I just want to say it's rude. Trista made me sit on this information.
I had to work through
how
my
many
own
months?
stuff, you know? I know.
How many months did you make me? But I will say I am much more grateful for that than the folks who come on my shows and have the nerve to be like, I have something exciting going on, but I can't tell you.
That's right. I gave you the info,
like
inside track. You were in the know. Yeah.
I just say some of you people that just come on and just don't tell me any, like, look, it's in my job description. I'm supposed to know these things behind the scenes. I would never tell.
She didn't. Like, she said not a word.
I didn't say one stinking word. I kept it.
All she did was encourage.
That's it. That's what I do.
Right.
Trista, thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And we will see you. And I'm hoping next month we can talk about, because it'll be November, we'll talk about the friendship stuff next
all
month.
day long.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas. I appreciate you. And I want to remind you to make joy a priority in your life today and every day, because you are the joy. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Oh, I did get wrong side. Other side. Okay. Okay. Now we. Have a good day, everybody. Bye.